What secrets lie within the cosmic pulse that ancient sages called the breath of existence? In the quantum depths of reality, where consciousness meets the eternal dance of creation, there exists a force so profound that modern science trembles at its implications, while ancient mystics smiled knowingly at its truth. Tonight we journey beyond the veil of ordinary perception to explore what the French philosopher Henri Bergson dared to name the Élan Vital. But was this visionary touching the very essence of cosmic consciousness? Or did he stumble upon something far more mysterious? A force that bridges the gap between the seen and unseen worlds. Prepare yourself, for we are about to unveil the hidden dimensions of the life force that pulses through every atom, every thought, every breath you take. The first revelation speaks to us of the Great Awakening that occurred in 1907, when Henri Bergson channeled through his consciousness what he called the Élan Vital, the vital impetus that drives all existence. But dear seekers, this was no mere philosophical concept born from academic minds. Ancient shamans and mystics across countless civilizations had already perceived this cosmic pulse, this breathing of the universe itself. The Sanskrit tradition knew it as prana, the Chinese as chai, and the Egyptians whispered of it in their mystery schools. The vital essence that animates matter 10. Bergson, whether he realized it or not, was tapping into the same quantum field of consciousness that had revealed itself to awaken beings throughout the ages. This force transcends the mechanical explanations that our limited intellects desperately cling to, for it operates in dimensions where linear time dissolves and pure creativity flows like liquid light through the fabric of reality's forming. The Élan Vital is not merely biological. It is the cosmic intelligence expressing itself through every form, every thought, every moment of becoming. When we understand this, we begin to see that evolution itself is not random chance, but conscious or orchestration by forces operating beyond the third dimension. The second cosmic revelation unveils the profound truth that Bergson discovered about the nature of time itself, what he called duration, and how it connects to the eternal now, where all healing and manifestation occurs. The mystics have always known that time as we experience it is an illusion, a construct of the intellect that fragments the seamless flow of existence into artificial segments. But the Élan Vital operates in true time, in duration where past, present, and future merge into a single eternal moment of creative potential. This is why indigenous shamans could see the future in their visions, why mystics could heal across vast distances, and why consciousness can influence matter instantaneously. The life force flows through what modern quantum physics is only beginning to understand, the non-local field of infinite possibility where intention becomes reality. Ancient sages understood that when we align our personal consciousness with this cosmic pulse, we transcend the limitations of sequential time and enter the realm where miracles are simply natural expressions of higher dimensional physics. The Élan Vital is the bridge between the eternal and the temporal, the gateway through which divine intelligence continuously creates and recreates the hologram we call physical reality. The third mystical insight reveals why Bergson's concept was both celebrated and feared by the scientific establishment of his time, because it threatened to expose the fundamental limitation of purely rational approaches to understanding reality. The mechanistic worldview that dominated the late 19th and early 20th centuries could only perceive life as complex machinery, reducing consciousness to mere chemical reactions and dismissing the soul as primitive superstition. But Bergson dared to suggest that life possesses an inherent creative intelligence that cannot be measured by instruments or captured in mathematical equations. This was not ignorance. This was profound wisdom, recognizing that the deepest truths of existence operate beyond the reach of the analytical mind. The same fear that caused ancient mystics to be persecuted now manifested as scientific skepticism toward anything that couldn't be replicated in a laboratory. Yet the Élan Vital continues to flow regardless of human belief or disbelief, just as gravity existed long before Newton formulated his laws. Modern quantum mechanics is finally beginning to catch up with what Bergson intuited, that consciousness and matter are not separate phenomena, but different expressions of the same underlying creative force that mystics have called the divine intelligence. The fourth revelation illuminates the profound connection between Bergson's vital impulse and what advanced spiritual practitioners understand as the activation of higher consciousness through direct knowing rather than thinking nine. Bergson distinguished between two modes of perception: the intellect, which dissects and analyzes, and intuition, which grasps the wholeness of reality in a single flash of understanding, found in 18. This is precisely what meditation masters have taught for millennia. That true wisdom comes not from accumulating mental knowledge, but from dissolving the barriers between the observer and the observed, until only pure awareness remains. When consciousness aligns with the Élan Vital, extraordinary abilities naturally emerge. Precognition, telepathy, spontaneous healing, and the capacity to influence matter through intention alone. These are not supernatural powers, but natural expressions of consciousness, operating from its true multidimensional nature rather than being confined to the three-dimensional thinking mind. The vital force reveals itself most clearly when we transcend the ego's need to control and analyze, allowing the deeper intelligence of existence to flow through us unobstructed. This is why ancient mystery schools emphasize direct experience over theoretical knowledge, knowing that the Élan Vital can only be truly understood by becoming one with it. The fifth cosmic truth emerges from understanding how the Élan Vital manifests as the evolutionary impulse that drives not only biological development, but the expansion of consciousness itself throughout the universe in order to attend. Bergson recognized that evolution is not a mechanical process of random mutations, but a creative unfolding, guided by an intelligence that continuously generates new possibilities in greater complexity. From this mystical perspective, human consciousness represents a crucial stage in the cosmic awakening, the point where the universe becomes self-aware through individualized expressions of the divine intelligence. Each moment of our lives is an opportunity for the Élan Vital to experience itself more fully, to evolve new capacities for love, wisdom, and creative expression. This is why spiritual traditions emphasize personal transformation, not for selfish gain, but because individual awakening contributes to the collective evolution of consciousness on Earth and beyond. The vital force seeks ever greater freedom, complexity and beauty manifesting through countless forms while remaining eternally one. When we align with this evolutionary impulse rather than resisting it through fear or limitation, we become conscious co-creators in the universe's grand design, channels through which higher dimensions of reality can anchor into physical form. The sixth mystical insight reveals how modern science's dismissal of the Élan Vital as pseudoscience ironically demonstrates the very limitation that Bergson was attempting to transcend: the reduction of reality to only what can be measured and controlled. Yet quantum physics has discovered phenomena that remarkably parallel ancient mystical teachings about consciousness and reality: non-locality, observer effect quantum entanglement, and the participatory nature of measurement. These discoveries suggest that consciousness is not produced by matter, but maybe the fundamental fabric from which matter emerges, precisely what mystics have taught about the primacy of spirit over form. The Élan Vital operates in the quantum realm, where possibilities exist in superposition until consciousness collapses them into specific experiences. This explains how intention visualization and focused awareness can influence physical reality in ways that seem impossible from a purely mechanistic perspective. Advanced practitioners of energy healing, remote viewing, and consciousness-based technologies are essentially learning to work directly with the vital force that Bergson intuited, but that science is only beginning to acknowledge. The future of human evolution lies in consciously partnering with this creative intelligence, rather than trying to dominate it through technological manipulation. The seventh revelation unveils the profound connection between personal vitality and cosmic consciousness that Bergson sensed but perhaps couldn't fully articulate given the limitations of his era's language and concepts. 11. The Élan Vital is not separate from our individual life force. It is our deepest essence, the divine spark animating our physical form and connecting us to the infinite web of existence. 110. When we feel depleted, depressed, or disconnected, we have simply lost conscious awareness of this vital connection, like a radio tuned to static instead of the clear signal that's always broadcasting 10. Ancient healing traditions understood this principle, developing practices like yoga, qigong, and meditation specifically to restore the free flow of life force through our energy systems. Modern stress, electromagnetic pollution, and disconnection from nature create interference patterns that block our natural receptivity to the cosmic pulse 10. But the moment we realign through conscious breathing, time in nature, or heart-centered awareness, the Élan Vital begins flowing more freely, restoring not only physical health, but expanded perception and creative inspiration. This is why mystics throughout history have emphasized the cultivation of personal energy as the foundation for all spiritual development. Not from a selfish perspective, but because individual vitality directly serves the collective awakening of human consciousness. The eighth cosmic understanding emerges from recognizing how Bergson's concept of creative evolution points toward the ultimate destiny of consciousness itself. The eventual transcendence of all limitations and the realization of infinite creative potential. The Élan Vital is not random or purposeless, but carries within its very essence the blueprint for ever greater beauty, love, and conscious awareness. From this perspective, every challenge we face individually and collectively is actually an opportunity for the vital force to evolve new capacities and deeper wisdom. The apparent chaos and suffering in our world are birth pangs of a new level of consciousness trying to emerge, like a butterfly struggling to break free from its chrysalis. Those who align with the evolutionary impulse become midwives for this cosmic birth, helping to anchor higher frequencies of reality into the dense matter of Earth's dimension. This is the true meaning of the spiritual path, not escape from physical reality, but the conscious evolution of matter itself through the awakening of the divine intelligence within every atom. The Élan Vital seeks to express itself through us as fully realized beings who have transcended the illusion of separation and discovered their true nature as individualized expressions of cosmic consciousness. The ninth mystical revelation illuminates why Bergson's insights about intuition versus intellect remain profoundly relevant for navigating our current era of technological acceleration and spiritual awakening. 1.18, the intellect, while useful for practical matters, can only rearrange existing patterns of information. It cannot access the creative source from which truly new possibilities emerge. Intuition, however, connects us directly to the Élan Vital's fountain of infinite creativity, allowing us to receive insights, solutions, and inspirations that transcend logical deduction. 18. This is why breakthrough discoveries in science, art, and spirituality often come through sudden revelations rather than systematic analysis. As artificial intelligence becomes increasingly sophisticated at intellectual tasks, humanity's unique gift lies in our capacity for intuitive communion with the creative force of existence itself. The mystics understood that intuition is not random or unreliable, but represents a higher order of intelligence. The direct knowing that emerges when individual consciousness aligns with universal consciousness. Developing this capacity requires moving beyond the ego mind's constant chatter and learning to listen to the subtle promptings of the vital force as it seeks to express new possibilities through our unique perspective and talents. The 10th and final cosmic revelation brings us full circle to the profound truth that the Élan Vital is not merely a philosophical concept or even a mystical force. It is the very essence of what we are. The divine intelligence experiencing itself through the temporary form we call our individual life. Every breath we take is the cosmic pulse breathing through us. Every heartbeat is the universe's rhythm expressing itself in our chest. Every thought and feeling is the vital force exploring new dimensions of its own infinite creativity. When this recognition dawns fully, the distinction between spiritual practice and ordinary life dissolves because we understand that every moment is already a sacred expression of cosmic consciousness. The Élan Vital doesn't need to be invoked or activated. It simply needs to be recognized and allowed to flow without the interference of fear, doubt, or limiting beliefs. This is the great paradox that mystics have always known. The very thing we seek is what we already are. The treasure we're searching for is the consciousness that's doing the searching. Bergson's genius lay in providing intellectual bridges for Western minds to approach this ancient wisdom. But the ultimate realization transcends all concepts and theories in the direct experience of our true nature as expressions of the eternal creative force that births galaxies and dreams worlds into existence. And so, dear quantum explorers, we return from our journey through the hidden dimensions of existence with the profound recognition that what Bergson called the Élan Vital was never a theory to be proven or disproven. It was an invitation to remember our true nature as conscious expressions of the divine intelligence that continuously creates and recreates reality itself. The vital force flows through you now as you listen to these words, as it has throughout every moment of your existence, waiting only for your recognition to transform the ordinary into the miraculous. Continue this exploration, for the mystery deepens infinitely, and consciousness itself is the ultimate frontier.